8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello, welcome back. Episode 88 of the Geek Week in Review with, of course, me, Jacob Toys, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. That side, I'm getting the point right this time. And there, Ryan Speaks Geek is back with us. A whole year older, even though it's only been a week.
A little older, not any wiser.
Go out on his own and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, week 88. He's not really 18, just in case someone was.
Oh yeah, like anyone was like, "Oh yeah, is he?" Oh.
Disclaimer. But yeah, week 88. We've got loads to talk about this week. Evening, Shelley. Nice to see you. Thanks very much for tuning in. Yeah, week 88. We got loads to talk about. And I'm going to say it now ahead of the rest of the show. But the spotlight for this week, we are going to talk about Ant-Man Quantumania, because it's been well over a week now. All the spoilers are out there, and the three of us finally got around to seeing it separately, which is cool. I actually only saw it today, so I'm really fresh. I am really fresh. And I'll tell you what, I've got some thoughts. I've got some thoughts.
Not about the film, just in general. He's just got some weird thoughts.
Some weird thoughts to share. No, so we are going to do that. So let's kick it off. If you are new to the show, thank you very much for tuning in. You can check out the geekweekinreview.co.uk, all the social media links and stuff for myself, SuperSorrell and Ryan's Geek are over there. Give us a follow if you don't already do. And if you're not new to the show and you're a regular viewer, thanks for tuning in again. Your viewing support is very much appreciated. Where should we start? It's been a busy week.
Should we start with what stuff we've watched this week?
Ready? Look, I've changed it again, right? Because last week the little videos knocked us out, so I've changed it. So let's start with what we've been watching.
What we've been watching,
and we can talk over these credits because I'm going to leave it there for a second, just so that people know what the title is. Right, perfectly.
I'm not holding this any longer, guys.
No, I'm holding it. So what have we been watching? Let's get on to that stuff.
I feel like the Far Show. I kind of want to come out and be like, this week I have mostly been watching, and then just.
I'm going to be really lame. I didn't even watch the full episode of Last of Us this week. I went through it. It's just been a really busy week. I've not got around to it, so I've not actually been watching much, to be fair.
Did anyone do any preparation? Because obviously this Wednesday it's Mandalorian season 3 back on the TV screens.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of where I was going to go. Is that I've kind of been going back and kind of catching up with Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and just sort of seeing where it's at. Evening, Andy. Yeah. So that's kind of been my watching, because
Shirley.
It is a big week in that respect. You know, you've got Mandalorian season 3, which is. It's still a relatively new TV show, really, isn't it? When you think about it. It only kind of came on our screens in 2021.
We had that really stupid delay where it came out in the UK so long after in America in the first series, and then they were shocked that they're like, oh, there's been a record number of piracies, like because you've got one of the biggest shows you're ever revealing, and you're not showing it in the UK. It's like one of your biggest audiences, but don't worry about it. Yeah. Oh,
where Star Wars was filmed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Like we're not part of Star Wars history.
No.
It's like England has such a big history with the franchise that you don't show one of the biggest spin-offs of all time. You don't show it to us. Of course, we're going to pirate it.
No, but it's Pinewood, wasn't it? Pinewood Studios.
Pinewood Studios, yeah.
Do you know, actually, part of the Millennium Falcon was on exhibit in Wales, actually, up until it might even be still there until recently, because there was a big part of it where it was built and filmed up there, and they had part of it in Wales. You can just go visit it.
The Endor scenes, some of the Endor scenes were filmed in like Nottingham and all over UK one, all over Woodland of the UK.
And if you look really closely in the Ewok battle scene, you can actually see Robin Hood swinging in the back. Hence the crossover toys.
stuff, like people posting pictures of like some of the sets going up and stuff. Yeah, that's always cool when that happens. I mean, it doesn't feel like anything happens like around our end. Like I think Brad Pitt was down this way once for that World War Z film or whatever it's called.
And it was the ending that they cut as well, which is really brilliant.
The
all the scenes that were filmed over and I think it was Brentwood. It was like an old wheat processing place or something like that. They filmed in it. So there was a couple of zombie finger props that got auctioned for charity, but then everything that got used didn't even get used in the movie because they completely changed the ending in the thing. But it was just awesome alternative ending that they didn't use.
Just wasn't Hollywood enough. Like
it was more Hollywood.
Brad Pitt going to like Freeport or something. Like it was like popping into like the Sugar Hut for like a quick drink.
He popped down to the local job centre and he signed on for a bit because he's like, once his film's finished, I'm out of work again. He signed on, got his gyro, he's fine.
But no, I am hyped about Mandalorian. Really, really hyped about it. I've kind of stayed away from spoilers and stuff. Like I don't really know what to expect, except sort of more Mandalorians.
Well, if you're a big fan of Rebels like me, you should know where the story's going anyway.
But that's why I've stayed away from it because, you know, knowing about what's going on with Rebels, I kind of don't want that spoiled for me. I don't know. It's a difficult one staying away.
Of course, everything is going to be after Rebels, but obviously the seeds were sown in kind of Rebels with the whole, the Mandalore thing. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
And I think that it could set up a potential really good format for the kind of live action Star Wars films is if like the Mandalorian just kind of using it as like a bridging thing for properties, if that makes sense. Because like you say, Rebels, it kind of set up, and now in Mandalorian, which is a highly profitable, you know, and all the rest of it, is kind of continuing that story, whereas setting up and doing a Rebels TV show would be quite difficult. Whereas, you know, so I think that would be quite a good move for them to kind of do that. Sorry, I just saw Andy's message.
I was just reading that.
Yeah, we're all trying to read it. Harrison Ford getting lost even for one of the Transformers movies where they.
Oh, no, I'm laughing at the fact that once you put a caption on screen, Jacob's eyes just disappear.
My eyes.
Yeah, like half your face just disappears behind the Geek Week banner.
I don't know why it's like that. I'm going to see if I can move it around because it's not. Is it?
That was funny. Yeah, every time you just go,
whoop, you disappear. What?
You basically become like the secret agent, like boss, when you just see the bottom half, or like your eyes have been censored for giving us filthy, inappropriate. Whoa! We just do that for the theme song. We just shuffle us like that, maybe. It's the Geek Weekend Review.
Tell you what, look, I'm gonna swap me and Ryan.
Finally, Ryan, you made it on top.
Right, made it to the top.
I mean, one week I was just me on my own. Actually, I'm saying that as if like one week I had the whole show.
Yeah, there we go.
I watched a few things this week because when we went to Manchester, because the train was so ridiculously expensive, and say for 2 hours, we actually ended up getting the coach up. So I had that rare thing, you know, where you can just go like, I've got 6 hours to just watch whatever I want. So I did the
wife.
Huh?
Did you not just talk to your wife?
No, she was reading in her sleep.
I'm just like, if I whacked out my iPad on a journey, like,
the coach is 6 hours. We'd already been traveling for like 4 hours, like 2 or 3 hours before then. Had lunch, and you know,
fair enough.
Yeah. But also, we're comfortable enough in our relationship that we don't have to be talking 24/7.
Like you got on the bus and
that's quite a normal thing. That's a normal thing for a long journey. So if you went to a flight to America, you're going to sit there and talk to your wife, genuinely like your partner, for 10 hours. I don't want to talk to anyone for 10 hours straight. I'd die.
No, I had my little girl outside me just poking me in the arm every time I fell asleep. Like, wake up, Dad! What are you doing?
Yeah, you don't get a choice. But
we're nearly at Disney.
My tactic for viewing stuff was I went what's leaving soon on Netflix and just downloaded the 3 films that were leaving soon. and I watched a random trio. I mean, I'm talking about a random trio. Shooter with Mark Wahlberg.
No.
Good film. Enjoyed that. Save the Last Dance. I still like that film. I haven't seen it since I was since younger, but I still like it. I still can't dance despite all the lessons they taught me. Yeah, and then the third one I watched was Mercury Rising, this Bruce Willis film from the 90s about and he's got an autistic child, and it's actually just borderline insensitive now when you watch it, and it was so fucking boring, so boring. Mercury Rising, I would not recommend. I mean, this is before Bruce Willis started making bad films when he got ill. This is an old one that's just boring. It's so dull. It made my coach ride longer somehow, and the other option was staring out the window, and it made that feel more interesting. So I wouldn't recommend Mercury Rising.
I genuinely don't know if
because it's so boring, no one wants to talk about it. That's why you have not heard of it.
Like Save the Last Dance, like I said, it's like the least hip hop film there is.
Yeah.
But
I can say that Shooter was good, and then on the way back, I just watched Book of Boba Fett to catch up, ready for Mando season 3.
Nice.
That's why.
Mando 3.
I'm getting feedback from Brian.
You've had it, I think, since you started talking. I can hear your background stuff.
Yes, say again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Why did you say something? Why did somebody just actually say something?
Because weeks and weeks you've had so many technical issues. That's the best it's been. I didn't want to template.
You want to mess with it?
No.
You were on screen and you were saying words that were audible, and I was like, "That's a win. Keep that."
Whatever. I'm here now. I'm here. I'm plugged into the Matrix.
And it was great because if one of us just started talking, you just got cut off. It was great. So.
Wow.
Brilliant.
All right. Keep it geek.
I did see The Bad Batch this week. Did anyone see The Bad Batch? Or was it just me still watching it?
I'm watching it. I love that Jacob's tempting fate now and trying to probably come back now. He probably can't. He's probably messed this up now for the whole podcast.
Yeah, he's really. You done yourself, mate. You done yourself.
I'm here.
You just can't get your camera working now. No, Bad
Batch I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was good fun. But did you not think? One, it's setting up that kid is definitely going to have to come back into it later on because they made such a big thing about the being a thief skill. And two, he was a bit too Ezra in design for me. I kind of wanted him a little bit different because it was almost like they had some leftover basic Ezra models digitally made, and they were like, "Oh crap, we didn't design this kid. Let's put him in."
And even the voice actor was a little bit too Ezra. It's like they said to him, just be Ezra for this episode. Because even my daughter said, "Is that not Ezra?" Doesn't know. Ezra's not around at this. Well, Ezra's not in at this point. He's not even around.
Yeah, that was
so he's still on Lothar somewhere.
I don't know, but it was just a bit for all the weird and wonderful designs of Star Wars. It's like you make two humans that are two separate characters really similar. It just seemed like a really odd, and that aren't clones as well. Just before anyone says that, but yeah,
you say that though, but we have style and we have fashions and stuff. So maybe the guy was just mimicking.
Yeah, both of them decided to dress like Disney's Aladdin.
Yeah, it's just that's an in style for particular planets. It's fine.
Both of them happen to be thieves.
When I did that,
yeah, both of them just happen to be thieves. They may as well have been singing that song, "One jump and one of the head man." You may as well have sang that as they were stealing them.
Yeah,
you may as well have been singing that as he stole the ship, hadn't he? You know what I mean?
I would have rated it more Bad Batch the musical.
So there isn't much, let's be honest, there's not much on telly that we've been watching this week, is there? It's not really a huge amount new. I think
we can't talk Last of Us because you haven't seen it all, but that's definitely was worth talking about.
Yeah. I don't mind talking about it. It doesn't bother me if you want to talk about it.
It was good. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
It's a really good series. A lot of
RDJ Custom Creations in the chat. Evening, Ruben. How you doing, buddy? Cool. Yeah. Well, okay. Let's move on then. Let's move on to something else. Should we go toy news?
Yeah, got lots of toy news.
Toy news or entertainment news?
Whichever you want to go first. I haven't got much entertainment news.
I don't think there is much. Let's go toy news. There's not much entertainment. Look, Toy news, action figure and toy news. There we go. So action figure and toy news. There's quite a lot.
My favourite bit about this, by the way, is the fact that it almost implies that we're not allowed to call action figures toys. This is very much like they're not dolls, they're collectibles. Action figures aren't toys.
Yeah, okay. But they are different. No. Ryan, stop it. I can still see you up there. I can still see you. Like, just because you're hiding behind them words. So yeah, okay, cool.
Come up here and say that.
Action figure and toy news. Let's. Where should we start?
I popped a little picture in my favorite announcement of the week. I had to share it with you guys earlier.
Yeah.
But look at him. I don't think he's ever wore this outfit. I've trailed like in websites this afternoon looking for when at SummerSlam Hulk Hogan wore the most G.I. Joe outfit I've ever seen. And,
I can't remember it. I genuinely can't remember this outfit. But
that's just his own clothes from home that he wore to the studio and then got changed when he got there.
All I'm saying is because we've got like Sergeant Slaughter as one of the characters in G.I. Joe. How have we not had Hulk Hogan as being the All-American? How has he not got a G.I. Joe figure? So this is it, basically, isn't it? He's in his G.I. Joe bottoms and he's got his vest top on. It looks like he's straight out of Vietnam.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is a good body for, though. It is an amazing body for like Predator customs and stuff like that. Like, you could do a whole bunch of
see what you mean.
The characters out of Predator on this.
Mate, you wait till I get this figure and how many photos I'm going to do of Predator in my garden with this thing. He's going to be running those 18-inch pythons, brother, all over the Predator.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like the head sculpt on it, though. That's the only thing.
The eyes.
I really don't. I really don't.
The eyes scare me a little bit.
It looks
It comes with a random mask. Like an ATV mask. It comes with like a really random face guard, which again, never seen Hulk Hogan wear in my life. But it comes with some really weird accessories, almost like the kind of going, you could use this as like an action hero figure rather than a wrestler. It really feels that way, the way they've gone about it as well. And he's got trigger fingers, which is weird. Why would they give Hulk Hogan trigger fingers?
I don't know.
So
to shoot the guns? Yeah.
Well, he's been in loads of films where he's like...
Come on, that was a good joke. No one even flinched.
It was.
What was the joke? I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear my... What? Am I still getting cut out when someone else is talking?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Was it?
I'm saying
that's annoying. Was it your best joke ever? And I'm not going to hear it.
It was. It was genuinely like the best joke ever. No.
This is just a tribute. Sorry.
Shall I tell you what does really frustrate me about these figures though is that when it comes to these kind of generic soldiers and generic costumes and that kind of stuff, like the action figure companies like Hasbro and Mattel and that are really missing a trick, because if they put in an extra head or put in a handful of different masks or something like that, they would sell them by the bucket load because everyone loves an army builder. And even just for G.I. Joe, like having this Hulk, like if they had a more generic head or some kind of face mask or a gas mask or something, people would buy them in the bucket loads as background fodder and as like bodies and stuff. So it just annoys me that they don't do that. But there you go.
Like
so Target announced today. This wasn't from Hasbro or Star Wars. This is literally just Target, but I thought I would raise it. Star Wars Mando Mania. So every Wednesday going forward in the month of March and April, we'll be seeing Mando merchandising. Well, I'm not sure if these are all exclusive to Target or what, but it's Target announcing it. And I'm not sure if it's going to be new items or just deals on current stuff. There's no real information yet, but we'll keep people posted on next week's show as it comes out live.
Didn't they do this though last time with like? They did like Obi-Wan Wednesdays, and
that was from Hasbro though. That was Hasbro's own marketing thing. This is direct from Target, not Hasbro. Hasbro hasn't said a thing yet.
But didn't Hasbro do a Mando one?
Yeah, they did. They did bounty, bring the bounty or bring home the bounty.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah,
they will do one. It'll probably be the same thing. I can't say yet that obviously this is Hasbro until Hasbro announce it.
No,
but
of course not.
It looks very much to be Hasbro. To be fair, it's just something they would do, isn't it? Mando Mondays.
Oh yeah, definitely, hands down.
Apparently that Army Hogan was from the early '90s when he went up against Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, I just don't remember seeing it. I really don't remember seeing that costume.
What the feck is this thing? This looks awesome.
So this thing is Mimic from Dungeons and Dragons. It mimics things, especially like chests and things. So it hides in dungeons, basically. And obviously, if you don't do a perception test or whatever before you open a chest, there's a chance it could turn into a mimic. So that's what this is. It's a monster within the chest, basically mimicking.
Yeah,
awesome.
This is going to be available. Yeah, this is going to be available by NECA. It's going to be a full-scale 7-inch chest that comes to life. And yeah, I can't wait to see more images of that thing because it just looks menacing as frig.
Yeah,
I might even get that just because I like the look of it. It just looks awesome.
That picture there looks more like an accessory. It looks like something you would get in with something else. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else NECA puts out.
But they might do a bunch of other dungeon-related stuff with it to make a little diorama with the little box. I'm hoping there's a way of I'm hoping there's 2 of them. I'm hoping they're going to include the regular chest and then the mimic. So then you can at least have the chest sealed and then have it come to life. But
there's
a lot of people that
pictures or whatever.
Yeah, but even if you're a fan of like Ghostbusters, it would fit. Like that looks like a Ghostbusters ghost from the 90s, doesn't it? Like a proper random.
That was the first thing that popped into my head was those old like the toilet monster
stuff like
that. Yeah, that's
and that
exactly
thing...
sort of what popped in my head. Or like the Harry Potter, the Book of Monsters.
Yeah.
That toilet monster scarred me as a kid. I'm not going to lie. There was a good few years where I was worried that the toilet was going to turn into a monster.
Understandable. Understandable.
Well, the next one, keeping with D&D. This was on the front of the Toy Industry magazine. This was the Owlbear.
This is from the film, isn't it?
Yeah, this is from the film. It is part of D&D lore. The Owlbear, it does exist in the D&D. But it's from the film. It's an owl/bear. It's part of that new Golden Archive lines. It's going to come with the Dungeons and Dragons dice and a bunch of other D&D related merch. But yeah, it looks decent. The fact that they're going to continue that line to me says that they've got faith in it. I've got a bunch of the figures so far, and they're good. They're not bad little figures.
I've got a feeling people pick that one up for a lot of custom fodder actually, because a creature of that size and everything. I think that's got custom stuff written all over it.
Oh, not to be confused with the upcoming Cocaine Bear.
No.
I'm not going to start that one again.
No, because you know what's coming.
Well, a big white bear.
Cocaine bear.
Right. No, we're moving on. Spider-Man.
SH Figure Arts. Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales Spider-Man. That's a mouthful, isn't it? This is an exclusive edition. We're not sure what that is meaning just yet, but obviously Tamashi is going through its Tamashi Nation's yearly thing. I forgot the name of it. TH Nation, something like that.
Yeah.
And basically they're having their little thing where they release all the pictures and fodder of what's to come.
Yeah.
And these look pretty decent. I've got no more information for you other than these are exclusive and they're coming soon.
No, for me personally, with the whole Spider-Verse stuff, I'm a bit over seeing Miles and Gwen. I want to see the other characters. I want to see what else is coming out because we've had a whole bunch of
Spider-Man stuff kind of thing.
Yeah. I just think that the film's got so much potential. I kind of want to see more of what's going on.
Yeah, I get it.
As much as other things at the moment, though, film-wise, like online, that seems to be the one I see least about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame because I think
that makes me
more excited about.
Yeah.
When I see less about a film, it makes me more excited about the film. Because these days, everyone thought a minute. I feel like I've already seen the entire Dungeons and Dragons movie before it's even come out. The amount of stupid trailers we've got, and it doesn't even come out for another month.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
DC Multiverse. Obviously, we've got the Teen Titans wave coming out very soon, or Titans wave.
It is a good-looking wave. It is a really good.
It's a little bit different from the characters I'm familiar with. So I believe that's Donna on the end, and I forgot the red guy's name.
Arsenal.
Beast Boy's in there, and so Arsenal is it?
Yeah.
Beast Boy and is it Raven in the middle there?
Yep.
Raven, Nightwing.
Yeah, Nightwing. So,
that is a solid wave.
That is a really hefty looking Beast Boy. I mean, that's the builder figure, isn't it? Or
it is
collector figure, whatever it is that McFarlane calls it.
It is, but my only problem is, guys, I'm not sure if you saw this announcement more or less instantly straight after it, within a 24-hour period. I know it's not the same, but why would you buy the entire wave when he's coming single-carded?
Yeah.
Another Beast Boy.
Yeah.
I know it's a completely different head on it, but still they've announced another Beast Boy big figure within a day. It just doesn't
Is
make
that a
sense.
big one?
It
It's
looks
gonna be
more
big
like
figure,
a.
yeah.
Is it?
The
Oh,
I
thing
would
on
say
the
it's a
thing is
standard
gold
figure, and I
label.
would almost say like that's the normal size Beast Boy, and then you've got the mid-transformation Beast Boy.
That would
Is
make
the
more
builder
sense,
figure.
but yeah, on
Yeah.
the listings they're calling this one McFarlane DC Beast Boy Gold Label Mega Figure. So
Oh, right.
Maybe because of lots
unless
of
they've mislabeled
accessories.
it.
Yeah.
Unless they've
What if it's the
mislabeled
other way around and they ballsed up?
yeah, it could be. It could be. I've had that out before on the press list.
Yeah.
I just think that big version, that like kind of collector figure or whatever it's called, just looks so hefty, and we've not had a figure of Beast Boy in that style yet. So I think it's just I think it's got real potential. It's exciting. It's good to see like a full wave of a team like that.
Yeah.
That is a good offering from McFarlane. I think that's a really good move to kind of go, here's your full team. The same as what they did with the Dark Knight trilogy, and they kind of went like, these are your characters. They're all in a wave together because you can go out and buy them all then, can't you?
The website
Toy
Toy
Book.
Book. Oh, sorry.
They're still making the Titans show.
I'm not sure.
I've heard nothing about it for so long, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
The Toy Book
I really
website
don't know.
got a reveal this week of the TMMT BST-AXNs from Loyal Subject, and these are going to be the next in the BST-AXN line, which I like. To be fair, they're quite good figures. They're about 5-inch in scale.
Yeah,
we're going
not
to be
bad
getting
at all.
Yes, we're going to be getting the turtles with their corresponding coloured bike. Every turtle will come with the alternate head for the helmet, or the regular turtle head. They'll all come with their usual turtle accessories and a bunch of hands, and their coloured bikes. So obviously Leonardo's is blue, Raphael's is going to be red, Donatello purple. And they look pretty cool.
That's cool.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah.
And they're not badly priced at $33.99. I don't think that's bad when their regular figures are already $20. I don't think that's bad.
The bike.
Yeah, the bikes will be a lot of people will want them bikes. I'm telling you.
But they're going to be they're going to be a bit too small for Power Rangers and Marvel Legends and things like that.
But
they're going to come up that little bit short.
Yeah, if they're about the same scale as the Toy Box ones, though, did you ever see the Winter Soldier one that came with the Toy Box thing? And that was quite popular for a while with like Black Widow and stuff, because obviously she's smaller.
Yeah,
Black Widow used to scale quite well on that Marvel Legends.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, it's the next nearest thing most people will get to getting one. So I mean, and obviously you get a turtle thrown in. Not bad. Yeah. $33.99.
No, not at all. Not at all. And they're good figures. They are the Law of Subjects figures are good figures.
Oh yeah, I like them.
And I think
Beetlejuice one is my pride. It's got pride place on the shelf.
I really want to get that Beetlejuice. The cartoon, the comic book. I really want to get that one. But it's quite curious because you've got kind of Law of Subjects that are coming out at 5 inches. You've got Marvel Legends and Hasbro figures that are coming out at 6 inches, and then obviously you've got the McFarlane coming out at 7 inches, and like your NECAs and stuff around 7 inches. So you've got a real scale now for the larger. We're not talking retro figures, Ryan. Right? They're still your 3 3/4 inch are safe. But even still, McFarlane are now going down the kind of 4 inch scale. So you've got kind of 3 3/4 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, 7 inch, and then plus. So it's a real scale for what you want, which is quite cool. You ask me.
And of course, we kept Jacob nicely in suspense to the end there, but we're finally talking about it. It's the Marvel Legends release of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be getting the Guardians of the Galaxy wave with, I keep calling him Apollo, but it's not Apollo, is it? It's Cosmic the dog.
Cosmo
the dog.
Yeah.
And then we're getting a deluxe Groot with baby rocket accessory.
And wings.
You know what? I've thought about this wave over and over again, and as a fan of Guardians and as a fan of Marvel Legends, I love it because you've got a whole movie all tied up into one wave, which is really cool. But there is no two ways about it. Cosmo as a builder figure is a dick move, 100% dick move. There's no two ways. I can't look at it any other way because that figure is going to be smaller than Howard the Duck. It's going to be smaller than Spider Pig, and everyone kicked off about paying £20, $20, $25, whatever for those accessory figures. Putting a builder figure in of a wave of 7 figures. Now, fair enough, Star-Lord doesn't come with a builder figure piece, but they've split a dog between 6 figures and called it a builder figure. Like it's a dick move. It's a character that we needed.
But it will be articulated, unlike all those other ones you listed, like Spider-Ham and
That
stuff
doesn't
like that.
matter. That doesn't matter. It's a dog.
I'm just saying. I don't give a shit about Marvel Legends. You know,
it's
like,
a dog.
I'm just saying. Like, you guys keep going about like, the articulation. You've got one that's articulated. You just got it in a way you didn't like.
Is he? If I
Yeah.
share this image, is he not going to be actually quite decent sized? Because there is a picture here that I've got of him with side of Rocket
He was
Raccoon.
bigger than Rocket.
Yeah, but the problem is they've not put any real like pictures out of them side by side properly.
Yeah,
they're only the promotional pictures. So this one, obviously.
Sorry, that just looks like some weird like.
I'll tell you what.
See in American Dad, Mind Quad. Like this.
If that is the size of him, then it's even more of a dick move because it's not in scale with Cosmo in the movie. So they've given us an oversized figure. So that's I think that's just a real mix match. I think they've oversized the Build-A-Figure part so that you can see more of the details. But it's really difficult. I'm in a real kind of place because it's a wave that I really want to get in. It's a wave I'm really excited about. But there is no two ways about that. That is not a good Build-A-Figure. It's, what, £150, $150 for the whole wave? That dog is then costing you like ridiculous amounts of money. But hey ho, it's my little rant. So I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna get it.
I've got an action figure review. Ash saying, "Oh, well, the toy news is done." There's one thing you just never.
We didn't say it was done. We're talking about the dog.
He was like saying about it being last not least in these reveals. All his toy news. Got a monster.
But we're still talking about the dog.
Jake, mate. Let the dog go.
Am I still getting cut out when you guys talk?
Yeah.
No, we're just cutting you out because of the dog thing.
Oh man.
No, you're not.
No, just before you move on though, the deluxe Groot is another issue I've got with this wave because their big promotional images was him with wings, and we talked about that last week, and we said about there was talk about him having wings and stuff, but they've not hinted at that at all in any of the trailers. So they've given away a massive spoiler from that film. Even if he only sprouts them in one scene, we all know now that Groot can grow wings. So you'll be watching that film going, like, if they're all like in a spaceship somewhere and there's no way of getting off, you're going to be thinking, well, this is where he gets wings. Like, Groot's going to save him. Like, it would literally be like Guardians of the Galaxy 1, then releasing a deluxe Groot with a big ball of like twine or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And kind of doing that.
I totally agree. It was a real dick move. And the thing is, you expect it from Lego because Lego are always arseholes and spoil most things.
And Funko Pops as well. Funko Pops do it a lot, which is fine.
Marvel Legends are normally pretty good, especially considering this was officially released, like pictures. Not like normally things get spoiled because people get them in a factory and send a picture. But like this is actually Hasbro are the ones who have gone ta-da, which is kind of like, and also we've had people on the show, obviously. Excuse me, it's a fair point from Andy. You never know.
Andy, don't start me on Build-A-Figures that grow big, right? We'll get on to Ant-Man a little bit later, right? But hold that thought, right?
So intrigued by that.
So, thoughts on this wave, by the way, before we move on, and thoughts on just Guardians in general. I've now had proper major thoughts about it because I'm sad, and I think it's going to definitely be Nebula that dies, and we're unexpectedly Star-Lord's going to be really upset about it. I think it's Nebula that dies, and the baby Rocket thing. They keep going on about. He's got baby Rocket in his hands.
Yeah, we had this conversation, didn't we? We talked about this in the group chat.
That we had like Groot, and then Groot can make. When Groot dies, he becomes a little baby Groot, and then he grows again. It's the son of Groot or whatever, or another version of Groot. What if Groot can help, like when Rocket's dying? What if...
Whoa. You are not hinting at Groot and Rocket having a baby here, right?
No. What if when Rocket...
You keep those fan trips to yourself, sir.
Wait.
This is a family show.
Oh, come on, guys.
We'll listen.
Groot is the tree of life, right? What if when Rocket's dying, he does something to basically make another Rocket out of what's left of Rocket?
If he does that, I will throw my drink at the screen because that
bit like he grows from his own ashes, kind of thing. Well, it's one of them things, isn't it? And then obviously,
it's a baby Robert Downey Jr. because Groot touched it.
Because like the idea would be that Groot died and Rocket looked after Groot as a baby, didn't he? What if now this is Groot's way of returning that life debt? by bringing Rocket back to life as a new version of Rocket. It's not Rocket; it's just another raccoon.
Yeah. See, I got my own theory on this, and I think that it's just a raccoon. I think it's just the baby raccoon. I think. Have you read of Mice and Men, where Lenny carries around the little mouse in his pocket? That is Groot. Groot is Lenny. He's just found a raccoon. He is carrying a raccoon around. No, I really kind of broke this down because when we were talking about it and stuff, and I just thought that baby Rocket accessory with that Groot doesn't make sense timeline wise, because baby Rocket, we've seen him in the flashbacks, haven't we? Or we think we've seen him in the flashbacks, but that could quite well be another raccoon. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Rocket that we've seen in the trailer.
It's just because it's just because in the listings they've called it baby Rocket Raccoon in all the listings.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's our Rocket Raccoon, does it?
Or it could just be from
how many Rocket Raccoons are around the galaxy?
And they're just including it in there.
But okay, so the what's he called? I'm forgetting the names. High Evolutionary. High Evolutionary, right? How do we know that he didn't give Rocket Raccoon the name Rocket Raccoon as this is a Dalmatian, this is an Alsatian? He created this humanoid rocket, and it's called a Rocket Raccoon. Just because we've only got one in the films and in the galaxy, he's Rocket Raccoon, but there might be more. And I think this is a different raccoon. I think the baby raccoon we've seen in the trailer is completely different than Rocket. I really do, and that's because seeing him with a baby raccoon Groot with a baby raccoon doesn't make sense. Does not make sense.
Or it could just be a pack-in.
Could be, but I thought that this is where I get really geeky. I did think that as like an accessory, so they've thrown it in to make it extra or whatever. But then some of the promo shots show him holding it, implying that this raccoon interacts with this Groot.
What if it's the old Groot when he first finds Rocket?
No, it's not. It's different. It's different body type, different personality.
We saw that Rocket at the end of its life. That Groot at the end of its life. What if it's,
They've already said about how it's a different version.
I'll throw it out there. I know, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm just going to watch the fucking film and find out. Because, I feel like this is this is so overreading into something for a centimetre packing plastic fucking raccoon.
Because that is what we do here.
No, that's what you guys do. It's turned into
this is what it's a Geek Week in review. We're meant to review the week.
This isn't a review.
There was an action figure with a little raccoon.
This is 3 sentences away from 9/11 was an inside job. That's how conspiracy you two are getting.
We're talking about a plastic raccoon. It's nothing to do with that.
Exactly. But it's I believe, and there's the tree of life. Then we're growing. Now we're growing new raccoons in one thing. Then we got a tree. I quit.
Listen, Andy said there as well in the animated show. I started watching it actually. I really enjoyed it. But I'm sure there was I'm pretty sure there was an episode like that as well. That's kind of where I think I was going with that. But I honestly think it is. And the reason being is that my prediction is that Rocket Raccoon is going to be one of the ones that dies. It is going to be Rocket Raccoon that dies, as well as I think maybe Drax.
Still got money on Drax.
Rocket Raccoon. I really want to see Drax get a happy ending. I really do. Not a massage kind of thing. Just I want him to have a happy ending in the film, in the story
soundtrack.
Just because everyone's saying, we've said it previously, haven't we? If he dies in battle, that would be a perfect ending for Drax. But I kind of want to see him as a character go past that. So it's kind of he needs his happy ever after. Not going to say happy ending.
Don't say happy ending. When you said, I don't know why, when you said it, the sound clip of him saying, "I'm invisible," was in my head then. It was
no, see what goes right? My nipples.
We should just have an extra window, and we should just have Drax as the sign in, and just leave it empty for everyone.
He's just there. Yeah. But anyway, there was one more Marvel Legends before you do it. There was the Luke Cage reveal, wasn't there?
We've already seen that, though, haven't we? That won't do.
No, we haven't.
They've shown that as a pipeline thing ages ago.
This was a big thing. They didn't. It was. It was a big
thing. This was
thing.
brand new. I don't remember seeing this one.
They did.
But then I don't remember seeing any of them.
This was brand new. A classic Power Man aka Luke Cage figure, which, yeah, I really hope that there's more of those coming. I really hope that it's not just kind of one-off. But there was no indication of when or how we're going to see this. It was just, this is coming. Pre-orders will be out later on in the year. So there we go. We have got, before we move on from Marvel Legends, we have got the fan stream coming up this week. Coming Tuesday, is it? No, Wednesday. Predictions? What do you think?
Hopefully some retro.
I don't think we'll have retro.
Probably not, because even if they had it, they forget, and Steve Evans has to then do an announcement afterwards. Because
no, but usually they do the retro reveals usually on like Instagram Live. At the moment, that's like the platform that they do those.
It's the main thing I'd be interested in, so I'm hopeful.
I think we might see some more Quantumania figures.
Yeah, I was going to say Quantumania, if anything, some deluxe figures for Quantumania, maybe.
That's where...
Yeah, I think some Rebel figures, maybe.
A mechanical organism designed for... Oh, what's it?
But it's got an F in it when he says it, doesn't it? For killing.
No,
yeah. Mechanical organism designed...
Only for killing. Only for killing,
yeah.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Right, what was your little reveal there, Ryan? Come on, we're listening.
My little reveal. Fucking hell. Like, you treated me like
we're not going to care.
Family.
You just poo-pooed all over our Rocket Raccoon theory, so...
How do I even add a picture on this thing anyway?
Come on, tell us about your silly little 3-inch.
Come on, tell us whatever the little toy is. Come on, not even calling it an action figure.
You don't even know what it is. How do I share the old image on this thing?
So you have to do.
Come on, teach Nan how to use the computer. Come on.
You have to have the image already in one of your tabs on your Internet Explorer or whatever you're using.
I've got it in my downloaded in my download folder, dearie.
So you have to open it and put it on one of your tabs. You have to have it in the tab.
I'm a bit bored now.
What do you open them on my tabs? It's downloaded.
Yeah, I know it's downloaded, but you have to open the image in a tab on your
just
Internet
tell us. Listen, this isn't a fucking YouTube tutorial on how to use live stream. Just tell us what it is, and then Sorrell will get it up. The image, anyway.
Jesus.
Oh, I give up.
You two are dirty tonight. Right, get a tell us what it is, and Sorrell will look it up and put it up on the screen.
Okay, it's Studio Series 86 Snarl Transformers reveal.
I can't wait to see what the internet was like. You're gonna get like totally random now. Tell us about it, Ryan. Come on, while we're waiting, tell us about this reveal.
So, the Dinobots from the Transformers the movie. We've had Grimlock. We've had Slag, and yes, you heard that name correctly. It is Slag.
Best name.
And then I got for my birthday, the last one they did, which was Sludge. So I just got this one. And now they've got number 4 out of Dinobots, which is Snarl, which means there's only Swoop left after this. And dramatic reveal moment. Has Ash got it yet?
Has he got it? Has he got it?
I've got the right one.
That's not it. I'm joking. Yeah, is it? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So these are like quite massively scaled, but they're all really good. So for context, this is a character from the same film, and it's scaled perfectly. So this is Wheelie. I also got this for my birthday. So these are big bots, very big bots. But the Dinobots are like, even if you're like not a modern Transformer fan, they're a lot of like proper like 80s kids favorites were the Dinobots, because it's dinosaurs that transform, which is just like ultimate toy fun.
That was just ultimate 80s, wasn't it?
It really is. So this is like the 4th one out of 5 Dinobots. They've confirmed they were going to do them all, and they just seem to be committing to it and just like steamrolling through it.
I'm here still.
I know. But yes, they revealed this. They also revealed a sort of a smaller one, which was Studio 86 Ironhide, but like I don't know I could describe it, like Scout class. That was okay, but you know, everyone really just wants the full class like scale ones. So I don't really understand the decision of that, because they've already made a full-size Studio Series 86 Ironhide that scales. So it was more, I'm guessing, just because they made a mold and they were just felt like they had to get some use out of it. But one thing I did get, speaking of toy reveals, but for my birthday from a very dear friend of mine, was a replica Transformer Autobot Matrix of Leadership from the movie.
Nice. Cool.
I'm going to put some lights in. It's just like a clear blue plastic. So I'm going to put some lights in it and sort of try and get it all shiny.
Looks like a Nerf. Looks like something to do with Nerf.
Yeah, I guess colours are the orange and everything. But so yes, like Transformers is doing really well at the moment. Like the reveals have been strong. The Evolution line, like when I caught up with Ben, obviously at the show, like at the convention.
Have you released that interview yet?
No. I've been trying to upload it like twice. And my YouTube's just been a bit of a nightmare. I know I haven't been doing it because of everything else going on. But I was actually editing the little bit of it. But yeah, we talked about like the line of it, and they've just sort of leaked one from like the a really obscure like repaint from, which is like luminous green, and it is what's it called? It's Tow Line, which is like from like G2, and it's like a lime green tow truck. Like they really are going like proper obscure like characters. But it's a bit like in like Marvel Legends, when you say about there's a character you go like I never thought I'd see that made.
Yeah,
we're sort of entering that territory. This new series of Transformers, it really is deep diving into like games, comics, absolutely everything. So it's really cool. Like you genuinely don't know what you're going to get each wave or reveal, whether it's going to be something completely obscure, but you get some fan favorites. It's like a really good mix. But it's just a line that I just can't fault it at the moment. It's just been hit after hit after hit. I think it's been in my opinion, probably one of the most successful in regards to reveals and fan service. Without being, stupid, but like it ticks all the boxes.
Cool.
Back to the studio.
This image. Please share what I've put up. So I've got to thank Candy, who's pointed me in the right direction now. And Hulk Hogan did wear this stupid outfit.
Oh wow!
It was called a Desert Storm match. It was called a Desert Storm match. Classic Hulk Hogan match in 1991 with Sergeant Slaughter, and he did actually wear this random military outfit.
Did anyone else just like? Do you remember the game Army of Two? I just got vibes of that.
Yeah, go back one and go up to the.
That one.
Go up again. No, go up again.
To the picture.
That one. That one. The interview.
That one.
Yeah. It looks like he's pre-COVID, like in the 90s.
Yeah. It's so weird, isn't it?
It's like
that's cool though.
It was cool.
Good show. Good stuff. That's cool though. That is cool.
Oh, Merseyside.
Merseyside in the house.
Yeah.
Dr. Mad Studio. How you doing? Yeah. Well, there we go. Every day's a school day. I mean, they weren't going to just kind of throw together a completely random.
You never know at the minute. The way they're going at the minute with some of the figures, they are.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Some of them are really massive deep dives, or just random obscure figures you've never seen before in your life. Like they'll just put John Cena in a different color and just send him back out. Which is
I think they always release John Cena. You just don't see it.
But I was massively into my wrestling in like the 80s and 90s, and I don't remember that outfit. Like I don't know whether I just kind of blanked it.
I'm a big Hulk Hogan fan.
It's I do not. Yeah, I really don't. I don't remember it. I don't know whether I just kind of blanked it out of my memory or what. I don't know. Right, let's get on to our final. Because this is we're going to talk. We're going to talk, but now we are going on to our spotlight of the week. In the spotlight this week. There we go. In the spotlight this week, we are going to go and talk about. No, not entertainment news. We are going to talk about the gummy bears. No, we're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Because we finally did all get to see it. When did you guys see it? What dates did you get out and see it?
Friday night.
Friday
on. Yeah, Friday night actually. Yeah, same.
And I literally saw it today. I took my oldest son to watch it. We went and saw it together. Poor, come on. Let's. What did you honestly think?
It was all right.
It was all right.
I thought it was a bit of shit.
It wasn't. It didn't live up to the hype a little bit for me.
I was massively disappointed. Massively disappointed. There was a handful of really funny bits, like really good bits, but then the rest of it was just a little bit, really weak. Like, I think Jonathan Majors, as Kang was phenomenal. Like, I'm really looking forward to where he goes with that character and how Kang develops over the MCU, over the coming, films and all the rest of it.
With Kang, the one thing I like with Thanos, Thanos was one dude that tore up the universe and kicked the crap out of everyone. This feels like we're going to be destroying a different Kang in every film, and that if you can destroy him in every film, it just takes away the credibility of it. Like Thanos was one dude that kicked the crap out of them for 10 years. Yeah. It doesn't feel like Kang can do the same. It feels like it's almost like a different version of Kang every time we're going to be fighting, isn't it? And that just feels a bit naff.
Well, I'm going to do a video soon on the different Kangs that there are, because there are a handful of different Kangs, and this is the one that we saw in this video, in this film, was the like Outcast one, the one that he's like the crazy one. So I don't think we've seen the end of this one. I think this is going to be potentially kind of like the staple main Kang that we kind of see. Did you see the after credit scene?
Yeah, both of them.
So there was the Council of Kangs, which is again another thing from the comic books.
Which Big Bang Theory have ruined for me forever because of the Council of Sheldons. So anyway,
it is. And in that you saw specific Kangs that were like the Egyptian one is like the first Kang where he went back to like Egyptian times and stuff.
Metal arms.
Yeah, he looked cool, didn't he? And then at the end, we obviously got kind of a teaser for Loki. And it was like another version of Kang. But you know that's just going to be just some random bit in the show. So, I don't know. We'll see what it is. But, yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was solid. But I'm sure we're going to see him again at some point. But I don't know. I don't know whether I kind of went into it knowing that he was going to not win, if that makes sense. Because the direction of the MCU. Them announcing that the Kang Dynasty is going to be the big Avengers film. You kind of knew he was going to die.
I like they could have given it a massive twist. The ending where he's kind of monologuing and he goes, "Well, have I just destroyed the universe?" What if it then zoomed out to the Council of Kang bit and it would have felt a bit more cliffhangery ending, like, "Oh crap, what has he done?"
That would have been cooler.
That would have been a very cool ending. Like leave it on that till we get another big movie to to show us what happens next to Kang. That would have felt a bit more than him going back into probably all right and carry on the life.
Yeah,
it just took the edge off the film a little bit.
Yeah. Andy's pointed out Victor Timely being the main bad guy in the Loki series. Yeah, I believe so. But the point I was trying to make is that the bit that we've seen, I don't think is going to be anything significant. It literally is the point where him and Mobius kind of find him. So it was just kind of a little.
We had that scene with Winter Soldier with his arm in a vice.
Yeah, exactly. Bill Murray. What was the point? Why was Bill Murray in this film? It just ruined it for me. Like, it really ruined it seeing him in this film. I was just like, you're Bill Murray playing Bill Murray, like doing a Bill Murray impression.
In a film called Bill Murray, actually.
It was like, I can't see him after Zombieland. Like, it's just Bill Murray doing cameos. Like, but I don't know. There was no point. I get the whole thing that her and him, Janet and him had like affairs and stuff like that. But yeah, I just didn't see the point. I really didn't see the point. He didn't come back. He didn't have any kind of significant part later on or anything like that. Just kind of annoyed me.
He should have come back at the end and been killed off in a later part rather than in that end of that segment. But one of my biggest things that took me out of it was I still don't understand the recasting of Cassie. Like, it just, because it's such a recent casting.
Yeah,
it felt odd to me. It was a bit like, I don't know. When people were just a bit like, oh, it's a bit jarring. Edward Norton was this, and then now it's Mark Ruffalo. I know it's different, like not as a significant character, but like we had that whole emotional connection, that whole bit that was all built up in obviously the Avengers film. Yeah, and it was a really good actress, and I really, really do not understand the logic, because even she, the actress who played Cassie, she only found out when it was announced at a convention, like, which I think is really shitty.
But if she hadn't signed any kind of multi-film deal, then she'd gone in and done her job. So it's You know?
I know, but if we're going to keep using the character, they're all about supposedly keeping continuity and consistency. I just you had a really good actress there already established as the character.
Yeah.
Why would you sort of change it? I mean, it'd be
That's
like changing
interesting,
Echo after her first appearance in the series, and then next thing, for no reason whatsoever, just casting someone else.
Yeah.
So Catherine Newton's kind of on the up and up at the minute. She's going to become Hollywood's next little darling, so to speak. She's going to be in loads of films. But she's already been in a handful of good movies, hasn't she? Like Detective Pikachu, she was in that. Obviously, she's now playing Cassie Lang. She was in Blockers with John Cena. She's going to be in a boatload of movies going forward. This kid, so I think it's going to be a big platform point for her being in the MCU.
Yeah, I think that it was that. I think it was they were going for more of a name. It's interesting you say that though, because you know what, it didn't even bother me. There was so much else that bothered me that didn't bother me because I knew she'd been recast going into it, so I kind of looked past it. The only point that it really stood out to me was when they were doing the flashbacks, and you didn't actually see any of the flashbacks of when she was a little bit older. They were all just flashbacks of her as an unrecognizable kind of unrelated child. But yeah, we'll get to that. Hope Van Dyne, Hope Van Dyne. Sorry, there's been no character development. Like literally, the most character development that woman has had is a haircut. It was like literally that is the most character development. She's exactly the same. There was
even MODOK noticed that.
Yeah, but there was no character development with her, and I was kind of like, she's got a new costume, she's got a haircut, like she fought in Avengers Endgame, they did that whole kind of thing. Like you would think that there was something more to her. I don't know. She really, and I was really disappointed because I loved the Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of films and the kind of relationship and stuff, and it just felt like she was kind of put in. I don't know. Just really, they didn't think about her.
This film was to close. This film was to close out. This film was to close out the Ant-Man trilogy, and to introduce you to Cassie because she's going to be one of the main young Avengers going forward.
Yeah, that's
what all this film was for. It was a point of introducing the new Cassie with a suit and establishing that she already has a suit, knows how to use it.
Yeah, that she's going out and doing stuff.
Yeah, and now that she's gone up against MODOK, she's gone up against big villains. She kind of has some credibility behind her now. It's not just some kid turning up randomly in a suit and kicking ass. Right. She's actually got some credibility now.
But then what
that was weird. They tried to make a big sort of relationship between her and MODOK type thing. It was like, what? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, sorry, what when was there what?
Did you not see that scene where he broke into her bedroom? Like,
when she was 6.
Yeah. But what annoyed me most about her suit, right? Why did she have trainers on? Why did she she's a teenager, so we're going to take out the boots and put sneakers. Like it was kind of like trainers. But it was kind of like they're completely impractical footwear for a superhero to wear with a quantum suit thing that you've got. Like
if you're at it, you may as well tell Gwen, you may as well tell Miles, you may as well tell half of the young children of the MCU because they've all done the same thing.
Yeah. But the thing is I kind of get it with Miles Morales in a way, but she would have had to have removed the shoes from the suit to wear trainers. Whereas at least with Spider-Man, it's kind of just slip them on. But I don't know.
I thought Hope designed the suit with her. Wasn't there a throwaway comment about that? I mean,
there was.
3-second one.
Yeah. One of my favourite.
Any credibility of there being an airtight suit as well. So if they ever wanted to use that as she can breathe in space, or if she can't, and that thing because you got trainers on bottom of hers, she's screwed. One of
my favourite bits, I'm not going to lie, was the bit where he went into the thing and there was loads of him and it was proper trippy. And then there was the Baskin Robbins one.
I love that.
That to me was brilliant. This is my costume.
That was like Ant-Man 1 level of humour. I was like, yeah.
There was no humour in it. I loved the bit with the book. All the bit at the beginning before they kind of went into the quantum realm felt very Ant-Man-y. But they didn't have Lewis, Louis, what's his name? Lewis, isn't it? That does all the let me bring you up to speed.
They said they couldn't find a good logical time when he would be in it. I was like, well, actually, I could think of 3 or 4 good times you could put him in it.
Yeah.
And what if you did the reversing where he, Paul Rudd tried to explain it to him,
I tell
and
you,
he was like, let me get this straight, and then he does it, and it's much better.
A really good place to have put him in instead of the fucking Bill Murray cameo. Just lose the Bill Murray cameo and then put him in at the end. But should I tell you who I was actually really surprised about? And that was MODOK. I really liked MODOK. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really liked him. Like,
I thought that was the weakest part of the film.
Really? See, but I went in there thinking I was gonna hate it.
The most wasted part of the film.
But I thought I was gonna hate it. But I was like, you know what? The way I looked at it was that they had created. I don't think this was the MODOK that we think of when it comes to MODOK, because MODOK at the end of the day is an anagram, isn't it? It's the MODOK. We talked about that earlier, and I kind of see this as like a version of him. Mm-hmm. It's not, and I just thought it was really clever with the whole Darren Cross, like with the way that he shrunk down and everything before, and so that's why he looks the way he does, and he had then been turned into his thing. I didn't like the whole kind of "my name's Darren," like all that. I just thought that was a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
But the bit that made me laugh out the most in the whole film was the bit where he died, and he was just like, "Oh, at least I died an Avenger," and he's like, "What?" I just thought that was really funny. But then as I came
Scott,
away,
you've always been like a brother of me.
Yeah.
But I'm just more about annoyed. Like, why? It just didn't need to be in there. I would rather have seen more of him, and then. Or something. I don't know. It just seems such a throwaway thing for something that I think a lot of people have been waiting a long time for.
Yeah, the thing that annoyed me afterwards though is I thought the bit that made me laugh the most about the whole Avengers thing, and I was like, but how would he know about the Avengers? Because the Avengers happened well after he went into the quantum realm.
No, the original Avengers didn't.
They did.
No.
Yeah, but he didn't know that Ant-Man was an Avenger. Ant-Man joined the Avengers.
I've worked out what it is.
War.
It's really obvious. You're gonna feel stupid. Scott sent his book, and it got released in the quantum realm as well.
Do you know you can actually buy that book as a book?
Yeah.
Can you
released it? They've released it as an actual book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't overly like the design. I didn't overly like the kind of character change, but I enjoyed him a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy him. But I think that's because I enjoyed the film a lot less than I was expecting to enjoy it. That makes sense.
It just seemed a bit odd on Rush. And the other thing is, I did sort of feel like I was watching Star Wars Phantom Avatar. Like, it was like a really bizarre, like at some point, like, I don't know, like you said, it didn't feel like an Ant-Man film, because I really like Ant-Man. I think as a piece of entertainment, I was entertained. Like, it was all right.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that was quite enjoyable. But as a Marvel film, that's meant to be like the start of this new big storyline, the next Infinity War storyline. Like, this is really meant to kick it off. I was like, I don't feel like this is kicking off anything. This just felt like this felt more like a filler movie than people were saying like Eternals was, or or Shang-Chi. Like, I actually thought this one felt more like a filler movie than those did. Like I said, it was all right. Like, there were some good bits in it. I liked some of the characters, but it sort of lacked a visual consistency. It lost its humor, which is something that character is, I think, the best for. That's why I go. And Ant-Man's like, I go to see Guardians of the Galaxy for humor and a good soundtrack. I go and see Iron Man for quick quips and cool suits. I see Ant-Man for Paul Rudd humor. That's the kind of everyone knows. Everyone sticks in their lane. I don't know. I kind of felt this was a missed opportunity. It almost felt like it wasn't ready.
Yeah, there wasn't enough humor in it. There really wasn't enough humor in it, and you could tell that because there was some really kind of typical Paul Rudd comedy in it at the beginning, like with the I didn't go up against Captain America. I'm not crazy, like all that kind of stuff. Like, and it just wasn't enough of that. I don't know.
For me, I think the film it felt like it was originally written to be light-hearted in the first half. Then the second half was meant to make you feel suspenseful, dark, and oh my god, Kang's the big bad guy. He's like Thanos, but he's worse, and there's loads of him. And it felt like it should have gone like that, and that the humor should have slowly dissipated because it got serious. But when they started adding in all these random stupid little quips and characters that shouldn't be there, like it got silly. It went from being very dark and sinister to then making a joke, and I was like, no, you can't do that. It was like somebody at Marvel went, "This is too dark. Do something."
Yeah, and it just seemed like everything.
That's what I mean. It felt like it should have. Like we should. It felt like we were trying to make us scared of Kang, but then someone would make a joke in the background about having holes, and you're like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
I am the now most popular alien on the internet.
But the whole unnecessary thing of how do you drive things in space? Oh, with these weird suction cup things, like driving a bike. What? And it's why was that a thing?
Yeah, I know. Why was Bill Murray in it? Like,
Jake never got over that.
No, everything just seemed too circumstantial as well, if that's the right word. Like, it just seemed like everything that happened in it was just too much of a coincidence. Like, you know. So the ants thing in it,
they were, they were introduced at the beginning as a plot point, so they could get out in the end, basically.
Yeah, and I get it, but if a whole colony of ants got sucked into a different part of it, and thousands of years before or after, or whatever it is that they said, you had like 5 people, but they all ended up at the same place, like even just slightly apart, and then things like Bill Murray, like the one guy that Hope Van Dyne Janet Van Dyne, was like banging while she was in the quantum realm, turns out to be like the lord of the place now. It was kind of like, oh, really? It was just, and then like the ants come back and remember everyone and still obeys like Hank Pym and stuff, and it was kind of like, no, like let them come back and be like xenomorphs. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a whole nother threat now. Like, do you
not think it would have been cool as well at the ending to have Kang break through, like that whole bit at the very end where Ant-Man's saying you cannot win kind of thing. It would have been. I think it would have been a lot more like if he'd have actually got out, or if the portal shut and Paul Rudd generally was stuck in the quantum realm with Kang, something like that, like he's now Kang's prisoner.
I thought they were going to be stuck in the quantum realm, to be fair. I actually thought that was him and Hope were just going to be there, and that's how they were going to basically say goodbye to Paul Rudd for a while.
Yeah. I was really hopeful. I think the point of the movie where I thought, I actually really don't like this, was that last monologue scene where it was literally everyone's move was pretty much the same. Like it was almost move for move exactly the same as the one that we got at the beginning. And then it had that dark bit where it zoomed in and it went really ominous and all the rest of it. That would have been a really good point to show that he's in some kind of psychological coma, or like something's messed up, and or Kang has been released and he's now just letting him run a loop in his head or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And instead it was just kind of like, oh, Paul Rudd, roll credits, like, and it was kind of like, oh no, like, no, you've ruined it. Like, that was a really good, like, it really got me on the edge of my seat as it started to get ominous. I was like, something's about to happen now. Something's about to, oh no, it's just the credits. Like, it would have
been cool to find out that was the good Kang.
Yeah.
And he was trying to stop the bad Kangs, and obviously we thought he was the bad Kang. It could have been a really cool moment, and then they just ruined it.
Yeah.
There's another good point, right? Why was Janet why was she like so stupid about not talking about it? Because actually everything that got revealed wasn't that bad, or was actually a perfectly legitimate thing to go, oh, when I was down there, this guy wanted to destroy all time and space, so I stopped him getting out. Yeah. Why would you not tell people that? I don't get. Do you know what I mean? That whole bit made zero sense to me.
Yeah. By the way, there's like a whole civilization down there.
Make sure you don't go there, because I trapped someone that could genuinely end time. So let's just not go there anymore. That could have solved the entire problem. But she got all stupid about it. I don't get it.
But I did think that the writing of her being trapped in there for so long and not having a way out because of her trapping Kang in there and everything, like all of that part, I thought was really clever and really good.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, wow, she became really good friends with him. She was really seduced by the idea of everything being amazing and her getting everything back. And then she realized and was snapped back into the, no, I need to do something drastic here to stop this from happening. And I thought that was really clever and really building up the kind of the level of threat. but then it was kind of thrown away a little bit. And also, right, the door shut behind Cassie and everyone, right? And then he was stuck in the quantum realm. Cassie literally hit like 3 keys on a keyboard and opened it up again. I was like, well, how? Like, if it was that easy, she would have gone down there. Like, this girl was putting herself in jail because she wasn't listening to anyone. She had a super suit. She would have been back and forth. She would have had like a whole team down there already. Like, it was kind of like you've made it that easy for her, but you've not really explained it. Yeah, it just felt really poor. And as for the figures, I'm going to say, why are we getting a Cassie Lang builder figure, like a giant Cassie Lang builder figure? Like, what was the point in that? Like,
because she turned giant in the film for all of 10 seconds.
Yeah, but that's not a builder figure that we need or want. Like, and all it says to me as well is it just shows that they've made the molds for the figure, and they've given it to us as big because they know like very little people would buy it as a deluxe big figure, whereas we're all going to want the regular size figure. So yeah, it's just a poor baff. Like, that's 2 really rubbish builder figures. I was just angry. I was like, especially with MODOK, like that. Come on, give us MODOK. Like, make that the builder figure. But no, we're going to get that on Tuesday when they do the live stream. Let's be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I was just really gutted. I was really excited for something big and something kind of like, because they hyped it up, didn't they? As this is the beginning of the next big thing.
Chapter.
Well, the trailer was done like, I think that was one of those trailers where it was like, I'm now a little bit concerned about Guardians of the Galaxy because I thought both the trailers for Guardians and Ant-Man were like really impressive.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little bit worried because that was Ant-Man. And like I said, and we've been moaning about it for like the last like 10-15 minutes ago, but like I actually still don't think it was a bad film. I didn't hate it.
It was okay.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I would pick maybe one of the Disney Plus series over it, put it that way. But like I don't think it was bad, and I probably will rewatch it at some point because I do like the Star Warsy elements to it, and I do like seeing all the aliens and all the creepy sort of stuff. Like I think that's pretty awesome.
It was okay. It was okay.
It is just okay, but I am a little bit concerned about Guardians now. I hope it's not anyway a disappointment because, like I said, I wasn't really disappointed by Ant-Man, but I wasn't excited by it, and I'm really excited for Guardians, and I want to come out of it going, yes, that's a Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and I really hope I get that.
Yeah, I agree. I unexpectedly, that the right word? Enjoyed the Ant-Man films up until now. Even Ant-Man 2, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, I really quite enjoyed. And I suppose as the trilogy, as the third in the series, I was just left a little bit. I kind of thought there was going to be a bit more, but yeah, I don't know. I like the new suits. The new suits are pretty cool. Like it was okay. It happened. Whatever. Like, why was Bill Murray in it? Who cares? It's just, before we move on, right? I think the reason why I'm so annoyed about Bill Murray is it's almost like they kind of went, "Oh, Jeff Goldblum, like actor of the '80s, we put him in a Marvel film as this quirky leader of a different civilization, and everyone loved it. What other '80s kind of actors could we do that with in a similar way? Oh, let's grab Bill Murray and sort of make him a quirky leader that's kind of a little bit risque and." And it's almost like you could see his dialogue being read by Jeff Goldblum's character, couldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was almost like, it just looks like
Quantumania is still better than Love and Thunder from Andy Hyde there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is better than Love and Thunder, but then again, I went back and rewatched that, and it wasn't actually as bad as I remembered.
I thought it was, again, that was another one I thought was all right.
Yeah, could have been better.
Cool visuals.
Could have been better. But there we go. Sorry, I've probably ranted about Ant-Man, but I only saw it today, so I was just like, I want to talk about this.
Do you know what another thing is interesting as well? What makes Marvel films different when people like review them when we talk about them to any other franchise is because when you compare like a Star Wars film, there's 10 films, which is still a lot. Or when you're talking about Lord of the Rings, you've got like the 3 Lord of the Rings films out. when Marvel, you're comparing it, like whenever you watch a Marvel film, if you've watched all the Marvel films, you're comparing it to over 20 odd films and TV series. You're comparing, like the comparison is so much larger, and we've had such a variety. They've all been so different. They've all been such varying quality because obviously the more variation and the sheer number you have, the more things you have for comparison. There's more expectations based on, because you've grown a brand expectation because you've watched. I mean, think about how many films, hours that is, that we've watched those characters and this series and this world and this universe.
Oh yeah.
So I think when we look at these films, we look at them differently to how we would look at any other films. Like if we went to watch Cocaine Bear, for example, or or like when you saw like Top Gun Maverick or something like that, or when you see these other films, we don't think of them in the same way probably that another reviewer would, because we are comparing them to this huge amount of knowledge and world we've invested in.
I massively agree. And on the same token as well, if you go back and watch like Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 2, they are nowhere near as good in comparison as Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. Like even Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of the same character isn't as good in those early films as it is in the later films. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And it is a massive, every film that's released has got a huge bar to meet because of the stuff. And we do cherry pick the best bits of those 20 odd films. We kind of, you remember the good bits, but because those characters have kind of been laced throughout it, in our memory, in our minds, a sort of subconscious kind of way, we link all the good bits of those films together and think this character's really good or this story arc's really good. And you forget that, like Thor, for example, like, by the time Ragnarok came out, everyone was going on about how amazing Thor was. But his film before that, The Dark World, was trash. Like, absolute trash at the time. So, yeah, I completely agree. I do agree with that.
I watched Black Panda.
Black Panda? Cocaine Bear, Black Panda.
Orange Tiger.
Yellow Lion.
Orange tigers are tigers. I watched Black Panther again. Sorry, I've lost Jacob. I watched Black Panther. Fucking hell.
Blue elephant.
Yeah. That's probably Eeyore. I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever again, and I actually thought it wasn't as good the second time around. Once the emotional kick in, like from the cinema, obviously the Chadwick Boseman thing, but watching Black Panther, but from Wish, brilliant. And it is spot on.
Black Panda.
Starring Chapstick Boseman.
Shakira.
These hips don't lie, and I'll never freeze. But yeah, Wakanda Forever. I just didn't rate it as much actually when I watched it again. Once the emotional impact had gone, because I already knew and had seen it all and had my emotional moment about Chadwick.
Yeah,
I actually didn't like it much, and I didn't think the CGI was actually that good, especially on Riri's suit. The Iron Man, like Ironheart suit, sorry, is like the situation. I was like, this looks like, I don't know, it looked like the video game cutscene rather than like Iron Man armor. I don't know. I just didn't rate it as much actually the second watch. Once I'd lost that, had that emotional impact in the cinema, like we watched it together, and hearing all the chanting and and it was really emotionally charged.
Yeah.
And then I actually thought about it. And I was like, I couldn't remember too much about it, so I rewatched it again, and because I was like, I can't actually remember a lot of what happened in that film after the opening bit. So I rewatched it, and I was like, I just don't think this is actually that memorable. I don't even think it's that great. It's again okay.
I went and watched it with my youngest son, who's 4, because he's a massive Black Panther fan, like loves Black Panther. And I was like, oh, the new film's on Disney Plus, like, should we watch it? Now, obviously, all of the kind of talking bits and the story building and everything was well above his head. He wasn't going to sit through all of that dialogue. So we literally just sat there and kind of fast forwarded through to the big battle scenes and the big action bits and that, so that he could see all that stuff.
Dr. Mad Studio's got a chip off, but bye, Dr. Mad Studio. Join us again.
See you later, mate. But yeah, so we watched all those kind of action sequences and stuff, and watching it in a condensed version like that, I was like, this isn't anywhere near as good as I came away feeling when I watched it in the cinema. Now, I know that a lot of that is the dialogue and the build-up of the story, but I was kind of like, the fighting scenes and the action scenes weren't as good. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so there we go. One last thing, I suppose, before we do move over on entertainment news, while we're talking Marvel and MCU and all the rest of it.
Entertainment news.
Entertainment. Did you hear about Tom Holland supposedly signing a new contract with Marvel?
No.
6 million films?
No, supposedly he has officially signed a contract for Spider-Man 4. And he is also signed on to be in the Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty. So he's signed a new contract to confirm that he'll be in Spider-Man 4 and then the Kang Dynasty. And the rumor mill is that Spider-Man 4 will come out first before the Kang Dynasty, and it will see him as like a street level again, kind of going back to his roots and doing the street level stuff. And then when it comes to the Kang Dynasty, he'll have to step up and lead the new team of Avengers, which plays nicely into what you're saying about the young Avengers being the next bunch, because you then get Spider-Man, who's of the same age but a lot more seasoned, being the kind of Tony Stark leader kind of thing, and then putting them all together, teaching them the lessons, stepping away, going back to Sony and leaving them to run the MCU.
What is coming up next for the Sonyverse? I'm calling it the Sonyverse. I don't know if that's the right way you're calling it, Spider-Verse or whatever. But
Madam Web is being filmed at the moment. Craven's being filmed at the moment. They've announced...
Do they still call it the Sonyverse? It's just MCU now, isn't it? Because like they've kind of tied all the Sony stuff into the MCU movies.
No, they're separate. In the Sonyverse, Spider-Man doesn't exist. There isn't a Spider-Man character. So like films like your Morbius and stuff, where they are in the same universe, but they don't reference Spider-Man.
But I thought they did mention Spider-Man at the end of Morbius.
Let there be. Oh no, it wasn't it? Morbius and Venom.
I wonder whether they'll leave. I wonder if because to have two Peter Parker films running side by side, it would be too difficult for kids. I wonder whether they're going to leave Tom Holland as Peter Parker now and leave that as MCU's thing. I wonder if we might finally get to see Miles or one of the other Spider variants.
It makes so much sense. Makes so much sense. Like, why are they not running with Miles? But I think that they're not because of the animated films. I think they're going to wait for those to, like, you've had Into the Spider-Verse, have another film come out, see what the popularity for that is.
Like Scarlet Spidey or something, you know what I mean? They could do. There's so many versions of Spider-Man in there over the years.
Oh, I know, yeah. They need to. They
could do the whole clone conspiracy thing and all that kind of storyline. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That really would be cool. But yeah, that was my only bit of entertainment news that I picked up on.
Yeah, it's not else. I don't think this week.
Cool. Right.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, in that case, let's round it up. Let's round it up. So it's a bit of a mixed bag this week. Looking forward to next week's show because we obviously will have the Mandalorian to talk about. So that will clearly be one of our main spotlights of the week. We have got the Mando back on our screens. So I guess that just kind of leaves us to round up. Anything that you guys want to say?
No bother. No, not really. I think
we do this every week, so I have nothing prepared.
I thought you were leading into something, Ryan. Sorry, mate.
No, do you know what? Normally I do. Normally I've got something kind of funny quip, but a bit like Ant-Man, Quantumania, I'm just all right today. Not that funny. I'm not that serious. I'm just, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Also, actually, I will say one thing. I've changed hat 4 times during this thing, and I don't know if anyone's actually noticed. I've been using the credits up here to hide the fact that I've been changing my hat. So every time I've been coming up here, I've been sort of doing like that.
No, I didn't notice. I noticed because you had the Blockbuster one on.
I've gone through 3 hats.
That's amazing.
I don't even know why I started doing it. I just got bored and started changing it.
That's amazing. If what you need to do in the next, like one of the future episodes, is see if you can completely change into somebody different without anyone noticing. just
be in a full Mando armor by the end of the episode. And just be like, this is the way.
But that is it. That is it for the week. So obviously, if you are new to the show, please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Check out geekweekinreview.co.uk. Give the gents a follow if you don't already do so. If you're one of the regular followers and watchers, then we do appreciate you. Obviously, jump in our chats and all the rest of it. Next week, we will be talking about Mandalorian. So stay with us, stay tuned, and until then, keep it geek.